Hello, students. You are welcome to Mathematics e-learning platform for third term 2019-2020 section. You are hearing the voice of Uncle Azubike Uchenna. If you have missed week 1, which is the Cartesian plane, and week 2, the straight line graph, please do so to get the content. Week 1, you can click on this link to get the content. Question and submission must be submitted. Questions and submission of assignment should be submitted through this email. In week 3, we are going to deal with cylinder. We calculate the area and volume of a cylinder. We will solve problems based on the areas and volume of cylinders. We use estimation and rounding when solving mensuration problems. I know you must have seen a cylinder, the can of your milk. There are so many cylinders around you in your homes. Now let's discuss the net of a cylinder. We said the net of a cylinder is the plane shape you get if you open out a hollow cylinder. So for you to be able to form a cylinder, we need the net, and we say the net of the cylinder is what? Is the plane shape you get if you open out a hollow cylinder. Before we discuss the surface of a cylinder, let's see how we will use the net of a cylinder to form a cylinder. let's discuss a cycle. Now from the video that we just watched, we have two cycles. Look at this. This is a cylinder. This is one cycle and two cycle in a closed cylinder. Now let's just take one cycle. We say the diameter of a cycle is what? 2r. This is the radius. 2 of this radius is the diameter. The circumference is given as 2 pi r. This is the circumference. So the length of the circumference is 2 pi r. The area of this circle is what? Pi r square. So let's not forget this. Now let's find the total surface area of a cylinder. Now we said the total surface area of a cylinder is what? The area of the two circles and the rectangle. Now this is our cylinder. The area of this cycle, plus the area of this rectangle that form the curved surface. And don't forget, this is a closed cylinder, just like your picnic. Now the height of this cylinder is the same as the height of what? The rectangle. And the circumference of this cylinder is the same thing as what? The length of the what? The rectangle. Now from the length of the cylinder, we know that the area of a cycle is what? Pi r square. Now the area of the two cycles in a closed cylinder is what? Pi r square plus what? Pi r square. So this plus this will give us what? 2 pi r square. Now the area of the curved surface is equivalent to what? The plane rectangle that we use to form the curved surface. The length of the rectangle equals what? The circumference of the cycle. Now the circumference of the cycle is what? Is given as 2 pi r. Now the height of the rectangle is what? Equals you know that is the height of the cylinder is given as what? H. We know that the area of the rectangle is what? Length times what? Height. So this is my what? My length, which we have here, times what? My height, the height of the rectangle. Now the total surface area of the closed cylinder will be what? It will be the area of the two cycles plus area of the curved surface. This will be equal to what? This will be 2 pi r square plus 2 pi r times the height. So this formula is what? Is the total surface area of what? A cylinder. Now this cylinder is a cylinder that is closed in both ends, just like your picnic. The both ends are closed. But what if one of the end is open, just like the one that the market sellers use? So this now, one of the circle will do what? Will go off. So if we do that, we just divide this by 2. If we divide this by 2, we have just pi r square plus 2 pi r h. If you have the two circles opened, so the whole of this one will do what? Will be 0. So we are left with this alone. But for two closed circles, we have this. This is the total surface area of the circle. So this is how we calculate the total surface area of a circle. Now let's discuss the volume of the cylinder. Having discussed the surface area, listen. Now the volume of a cylinder. The volume of a cylinder is given as the area of a circular face, that is the area of one cycle, times the height of the cylinder. Here, the area of a circular face, just one cycle, is this pi r square, and the height of the cylinder is what? H. So the answer is what? Pi r square h. So this is the volume of what? Of a cylinder. Now let's take an example. Example 1. In the figure, this figure, find the height of the cylinder, circumference of the circles, area of the circles, length of the rectangle, area of the curved surface, and total surface area of the cylinder. So this is the net of the cylinder. We're asked to find all this. Solution. Let's solve the height of the cylinder. So the height of the cylinder is what? 20 is the height of the cylinder, which is the height of the rectangle. Let's solve the circumference of the circle. The circumference of a circle is given as 2 pi r. So the radius of the circle is what? If you say 18 over 2, we have 9. So 2 pi r, 2 times pi, 22 over 7 times 18 over 2. So this will give us what? 56.57 cm for each of the circle. Now let's solve the third question, area of the circles. Area of a circle is given as what? Pi r square. That's for one cycle. Our pi is 22 over 7, and this is our radius, is 18 over 2. So if we multiply this, we will have 257.57 cm cube. So that's the area of one circle. Now let's find the length of the rectangle. The length of the rectangle is what? Is the circumference of the circle. You know the length of the rectangle from the circumference of a circle. The length is the circumference. We have found the circumference already as what? 2 pi r is given as 57.57. So the length of the rectangle is also equal to the circumference of that circle. So let's find the area of the curved surface. Now, as we know, the area of the curved surface equals what? The area of the rectangle, and the area of the rectangle is given as 2 pi r. This 2 pi r is the length of the rectangle, which is the circumference, which is now the circumference of the curved surface, times the height of the rectangle, which is the height of the cylinder. So if we simplify that, we have 125.71. Let's solve the last question, the total surface area of the circle. Now we know that the total surface area of the circle is what? Area of the two circles plus area of the curved surface. So before now we have the total surface area of a cylinder as what? 2 pi r square plus 2 pi r h. So if we substitute into that equation, we have 634.8 cm cube. Let's take another example. Example 2. A cylinder of height 12 cm and radius 5 cm is made of cardboard. Use the value of 3.1 for pi to calculate the total area of cardboard needed to make I a closed cylinder, II cylinder open at one end. Now let's solve this. Now we know that the closed cylinder, the total surface area is what? 2 pi r square plus 2 pi r h. So if we substitute into this, we have 2 times 3.1, which is the pi, times the 5, which is the radius square, plus 2 times the pi times the 5, which is the radius, times the what? The height of the cylinder. So you calculate this, we have 534.28 cm cube. Now let's solve for a cylinder open at one end. Now if we solve for the cylinder, we know that we will divide what? This over 2. We'll do with one cycle. So if we do that, our formula remains as pi r square plus 2 pi r h. So if we substitute into this formula, we have 3.1 times 5, which is the radius square, plus 2 times 3.1, which is the pi, times the radius times the height. If we do that, we have 455.5.71. Let's take the last example, example 3. Consider the cup to be a cylinder. This is the cup to be a cylinder. The height of the cup is what? 9.1 cm, and the radius of the cup is what? 8 cm. So we are asked to estimate the capacity of the cup to the nearest 100 milliliter. Now we know that the volume of the cup, which is the volume of a cylinder, is given as what? Pi r square h. So the pi r is what? The area of a circle. You know that this cup is opened. You know, every cup is always open. So we have one area times what? The height. This is the volume of what? Of a cylinder. If we substitute into the formula for the volume, we will have what? We have 1830.4 cm cube. Let's find the capacity of the cup. We know that 1 cm cube equals 1 milliliter. We found 1830.4 cm cube to be the volume of the cup. So let's find the capacity, which is what? Y. So the Y will be what? The same thing as 1830.4 milliliter. So the volume is what? 1830.4 centimeter cube. Now the capacity is what? 1830.4 milliliter. But we are asked to leave this answer in the nearest 100 milliliter. So if we do that, this is our unit, this is our 10, and this is what? Our 100. So we found out that this 10 is not up to what? 5. So we'll run down. If we run down, we have 1800 milliliter. So that's the answer. That is the capacity of that cup. Having watched the video where the net of the cylinder was used to form a cylinder, you are to construct a cylinder with the net of the cylinder of height 15 cm, length 25 cm. The height and the length is a dimension of the rectangle you will use to form the cylinder. So after constructing the cylinder, you are to calculate the total surface area of the closed cylinder. That's to say you are asked to construct a closed cylinder and go on to calculate the total surface area of the closed cylinder you have constructed. So that's the assignment for week 3. Stay safe.